Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump's vice president was in La Crosse this afternoon. News 8's Brittany Schmidt joins us live from the event and has more. Brittany?
Lisa, Trump chose Indiana Governor Mike Pence way back in July, just before the Republican National Convention. And since then, he's been basically traveling the state, holding town halls, and today's just happened to be right here in La Crosse at UWL. Now, they made the stage ready for about 400 people, and about 200 people filed in. You can see they're kind of taking down everything right now. But he spoke around 3 o'clock, and he focused on three main things: security, jobs, and trade. When it comes to security, Pence says weakness spurs evil. So under Donald Trump, he says they will fully support local law enforcement, giving them all the resources they need. When talking about national security, Pence actually got a standing ovation. He talked about strengthening relationships with allies and going after and destroying terrorists who threaten our freedom. Now, kind of moving on to economy and jobs, Pence says Trump will get rid of the red tape, cut down on regulations, and give tax breaks to the working people. And he says doing all of that will also help with trade.
With regard to trade, let me be very clear on this. I support free trade, and so does Donald Trump. He really does. I mean, we know in Wisconsin and we know in Indiana, I mean, we're exporting states, right? What we make, we sell in the world. What we grow, we sell across the world, right? So trade means jobs, and imports mean low-cost goods for our citizens. But what Donald Trump is talking about, as one of the most successful negotiators in the world, is simply, we just got to have smarter and tougher deals.
Joining me now to talk more about Pence's speech is political analyst Joe Heim. Tell me what you thought of his speech. How did he come across to the crowd?
I thought he was a very dynamic speaker. I've seen him on TV, and I didn't think he was that strong on TV, but in person he's very strong. He had a very strong delivery, very experienced, very clear. I thought he came across with very conservative themes. He obviously was talking conservative issues, especially get that across that he and Trump support those kinds of things. Overall, a very optimistic tone, unlike sometimes you hear criticism of the Republican theme being more negative. This was a very optimistic tone, frankly. Not a lot of details, but in a 30-minute speech, I guess you wouldn't expect a lot of details, basically. Overall, I'd say the audience liked it a lot. They were enthusiastic about it, and I thought it was very well received by this crowd.
What was new that he talked about today?
Well, you didn't expect a lot new. I mean, vice presidents aren't supposed to say a lot of new stuff. So he stuck to things that are mostly things that you'd have heard before, either at the Republican convention or from Donald Trump or other candidates. The things that I thought were interesting to me was that he did a question and answer after it. That is very unusual for a candidate. You just don't see that very often, frankly, because there's a risk to that. You know, somebody in the audience might say something that could be embarrassing to him or whatever. And the other thing that surprised me, kind of caught my attention, and I'm sure yours, is he said both he and Trump favor free trade policies, unlike what I think the general perception is. And that was kind of a little bit new, a little nuanced.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. Reporting live in La Crosse, Brittany Schmidt for News 8. Lisa, back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Brittany. Pence served 12 years in Congress and has been the Indiana governor since 2013.